Good morning.
Good morning, folks. We just signed on.
I
Hi, Lizzy. How are you doing?
am well. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. For those who are visiting us for the first time, rephrase that. For those who are coming back, thank you for coming back. On a personal level, I get annoyed. Nothing against new people coming on, but my first priority, the people who come back, because we're like family to some degree, and we appreciate your loyalty. So thank you first for coming back. For the new people, thank you for joining us for the first time. In either instance, we do try to start a little bit early. I say try, we don't do it all the time, before 8 o'clock start, to share some background work with you. And we feel that's important because although we do decide on a topic between us, we don't rehearse. This is all spontaneous from my brain, from Lizzie's heart. You go with the flow that you think is more relevant in what we're talking about here. And the theme is that I'm a left brain kind of guy, proud about it, live on it. And I don't get this yin and yang stuff of feel good, live good. I understand the wording, but I do that because I work hard. But Lizzy is well recognized in her industry for wellness, mindfulness, and all those other phrases I still can't say without stumbling over them. So she talks about fulfillment. Now, that word I understand, but I'm trying to figure this out. So we spend 15 minutes working on this concept. Before I forget, you can look at us either live now or look at us later. We do audit the visual comments that you make that we hope you share out to us and the world around us. We'd like to remind you, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. If you look at us through YouTube, please remember to sign in so you can leave a comment there also. We do audit and we do get back to you as best we can. Well, today's actually, one of the things we like about our engagement, you would think after 47 episodes, I'd begin to get some sense of what we're talking about here, has yet to happen. But I keep plugging, so I need your help, I need your comments, I need your suggestions. Today's comment is that mindfulness, I'm trying to say, okay, let me understand the word, what that really means. But I get this vision that I stare at a blank wall for like 2.5 hours and just empty my brain. But somehow Lizzy implies it's maybe something different. So I'm going to shut up and see what she has to say on that.
mean, it's really mindfulness it's pretty straightforward if you think about it.
Excuse me, folks. I have to interrupt. She keeps trying to suck me in. No, it is not straightforward. That's why we're having this conversation.
It really is a natural ability, human ability to be present, to be aware of where we are, what we're doing, but we get taken away from that a lot with our distractions and with shiny objects, with that little square thing that we all hold in our hands, and um we miss a lot of moments, and that's the part that it is so important. We can miss really beautiful moments with those we care about. We can miss opportunities, if we're just so distracted and not focused. So mindfulness is, again, it's a natural thing when we're present, when we're focused on giving attention to what we're actually doing, giving all our attention. So it's not about an empty mind. It's about a mind that is able to process things accurately, rather than with our all of our biases and all.
I got to interrupt again. You keep saying a natural thing. Then why does it not? It's like drinking water to me is natural. Falling asleep is natural. Why does for those of
Well,
us
for a
left
lot of
brain
people,
types?
for a lot of people, obsessive thinking, worrying, living in the past, living in the future is natural for a lot of people. But
There you go. See, she
it's
understands me now.
yeah, but it's maladaptive behavior, though. It's not healthy. It doesn't make you feel great to be in that, caught up in that
Well, I
vicious
won't
loop.
argue that, but what I keep
I was
saying,
in for many years, I can tell you, and
no, I get
it
that
didn't
part.
feel good.
I get that part, but you say it's a natural thing. See, one of the core difference between Lizzy and myself is that I always get the concept. She says, "Well, just turn the light switch in the room, and the darkness goes away." It's natural. Well, so for those of us where it's not a natural thing, how does one? First off, people may not be prepared yet to buy into your program, and uh, and you get good reputations feedback on that. I get that, but for those of us who are saying, "Well, I hear what you're saying, but let me. I'm a toe dipper. There we go. Let me. Here's my story, folks. Hot summer day, pools opened up. It's 98 degrees, and you get somebody on the deep into the water saying "cannonball" as they go splashing everybody all over the pool. I'm on the other end with 7-year-olds dipping my toe in 2.5 hours to get in the water. I'm a toe dipper, so I'm not prepared to natural dive in the water. So
Mhm.
for us toe dippers, what little baby steps or micro steps one might take to experience this natural thing you keep
Mhm.
talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's a natural thing, but we need to learn to access it because
Yeah,
we're
there we
because
go.
again we're so busy. We're
Okay.
so busy. We have so. I mean, it's just when you think about historically what how much stimulus people had a couple hundred years ago or 100 compared to what we have a day, it's not easy. So I think we had an episode like early on that was about like mindfulness is 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 not I'm sorry, is easy if you remember to do it. If you
Well,
remember,
but
so
I'm talking about how to do it, though. And by
yeah.
the way,
So
somebody,
again,
somebody gave us a thumbs up. Thank you
mhm,
very much for the thumbs up. If you have any comment or questions, please feed in.
please, we welcome it so much. So yeah, some ideas to for beginners is just to take a couple of pauses throughout the day. Just stop and be. Like there's actually like an app I think that's just it says like a stop, like a little red stop sign and
Mm-hmm.
a big letter B B.
Right.
Just stop and pause for a moment and become just become aware of what your body of where your body is, sense the senses, stop and smell, hear, listen, and or um just when you're doing a mundane activity again, like doing the dishes or
Now, excuse me, for those of us who aren't cerebrally
mhm.
blessed, mundane activity, I hear it's like doing crap stuff. Is that is that the same thing? Necessary crap stuff like washing dishes, mopping
Yeah,
the
brushing
floor.
your teeth. We do a lot of those things on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
So you could begin by just practicing, even just putting your pants on. Try putting them on with the opposite leg that you usually do, and
Okay.
or brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Just because again, it creates an awareness that you're actually having to pay attention to what you're doing.
I
You know,
guess I'm here. That breaks you out of your routine. Sorry for that, folks. Breaks you out of your routine. Then is that kind of what I'm
it
hearing?
breaks you out of that autopilot. Like again, when you're we've talked about when you're driving and you get to work or say, and you don't even know how you got there.
All the
Because
time.
your mind is off in thought about whatever. Right. And how about and how about you really just try to be present, like look around, notice the cars, notice the trees, notice the colors, especially now in New York they're starting to change colors. um,
Mhm.
last night, I mean, the moon, I don't know if you saw it, but it was this enormous orange moon.
Yes.
I just had to stand there and look at it for a while and just take it in. So just try to stop and smell the roses, I say. I mean, because it's again, that's something I did not do for a long time. And when I started doing it, it was just it was so freeing to be not caught up in, again, it's not about emptying your mind. The mind is going to think. That's what it does. Just like
So there's no staring
a
at a blank
heartbeat.
wall. So there's no staring at a blank wall, thinking
Yeah. Well,
nothingness.
you can stand it. You can see, actually using a focal point is good. You can stare at. I have candles. You can stare at a flame. That's
Mm-hmm.
actually a really it's really can be a very nice thing to nice way to kind of bring yourself into a calm state.
Mm-hmm.
You can repeat in your mind a word. You can say that one of them that's very common. It was developed. I don't know, but just to say the word one in
Mm.
your mind. One or calm, breathing in calm, breathing out peace, breathing in calm, breathing in love, breathing out
Mm-hmm.
stress. And just for a minute, I mean, literally, you can break the cycle of those disruptive thoughts, and then you can, the idea is to just separate a little bit and notice that thoughts just kind of come, and we get stuck on them if we just let them kind of pass. um and then maybe choose a thought that's reframe it so that it doesn't uh torture you.
Well,
Perhaps.
I kind of look at it like, as you talk about disruptive thoughts, we tend to clutter sometimes. Not that I do necessarily,
Yeah.
but I read in the book that people tend to clutter. So what comes to mind is like a spring house cleaning phenomena, that you remove the clutter to make the space for something that better value brings
I love
value to that room. Is
I
that the
love that. I
concept? That
love that. I love
left
that,
brain,
Joe.
folks, left
I love
brain.
that. But yeah, no, it really is. It actually, and even physically, to remove the clutter around your space, wherever you are, to not have, when you have piles of stuff and everything is disorganized, it just creates a disorganized, in your mind. So again, mindfulness it's that awareness training, focus training, attention training that I think is just as important as physical training.
And that, in fact, it comes to mind even more as I'm having some time to sit here and listen to this. That when you have clutter, it's not uncommon that you're stubbing your toe, you're stumbling over things, you're walking sideways to get
Yes,
around.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
because of the clutter in your room, that in itself aggravates your life in addition to everything else. And,
Absolutely.
and so you add to the frustration because you're angry at this clutter in this room. No, the clutter has no personality. The clutter didn't create itself. That, why, not me, of course, but I hear about people who encourage clutter to occur. So I guess if I'm hearing you correctly, that mindfulness is something to do with just take the time to remove the clutter. Yes, is
Mhm.
that what you're talking
Yeah,
about here?
because it will cut down on the needless stress, the unnecessary stress that we can have some control over, and then we can actually be more again our with the people in our lives. We can care and be more attentive to them, and so it's really benefits your relationships also, not only your own personal mental health, but also your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You can be more connected and deeper. What rather like again with the phone, where uh, I mean, I've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it. You see a little child with their parent, and the child's coming up to tell them something, and the person is so can't help that that knee jerk reaction to look on their phone, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like not paying attention to this child who wants to tell them something, and it's such it affects that child. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
really affects their brain, and it affects, of course, the person who is being distracted and not paying attention. They're missing those moments,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get them back. You might not get those moments back. So
So does that mean if my wife is preoccupied with it, it could be cooking, it could be work, it could be reading a book, that if I want an adoring look from her, what technique would I use to make that happen? Because I'm not the kid, I'm a kid at heart. There we go. She talks about agelessness. That's her favorite topic. So I'm a kid at heart, and I want my attention for the moment. So,
well, for the moment, I think it's a beautiful thing to go over and say, give me a kiss, or give her a kiss, but to stay to
oh no,
stand
no,
there. Believe me, my husband does that.
she
I'm in
does
the
that to
middle
me
of
all the
something and he
time.
stands there, and I'm like, okay, I gave you a hug.
Oh,
Bye.
geez, come on. No, you're not helping me out here. See, folks, this is part of our ongoing dialogue. You got to help me out. Please leave your comments, your thoughts, your input. One of the things we talk about emptying your brain today, and I guess you wouldn't say it quite in that manner. Opening yourself to a fresh start. Maybe that's
Well,
another way to say it.
and clearing your mind, just clearing it a little bit, not emptying it, but clearing it. Like just like how sometimes we're so reactive, and we say, like just take a walk around the block, or just take a moment, take a pause before you do something that you're going to regret, or you're not going to be responding in the most beneficial way for you or the other person, or any of it. um and so that's where it comes into like that, clear your mind, then come back to that activity with a kind of a clean slate, so that you can give your attention to it in the way that's not so charged.
Well, I guess you want to minimize. See, this is my left brain working again. That you want to minimize what I call a knee jerk response.
Yeah.
And so somebody taps your knee, and the tendency is to jerk your knee out. The problem is it's a natural response, but maybe there's something in front of that knee that it could be something sharp or something hard, and you stub your toe because you've jerked your knee. So is mindfulness something to help you not knee jerk to life?
Yeah, exactly. It's again, it's being a little bit less reactive. And when you do stub your toe, rather than, cursing out the thing that you stubbed it on, just okay, take a moment, feel the pain, let it move through you, let it go away, and go about your business. And it just takes like that lingering effect of whatever it is away, and it gives you insight into really, is that such a big deal? Or what, it hurt for a minute and now it doesn't, and I'm
Well,
okay.
well, for me, it's more than I hear what you're saying, and I want to argue that it's not a big thing, and I even agree with her on this. But what I'm hearing more so, it's not the fault of the thing I kicked. I kicked, and that it didn't jump in front of me. It's not football here. I'm not carrying the ball, and the guy's gonna tackle me, okay, and spring my ankle. No, that's not the way it works. Stationary, I'm not paying attention. I'm preoccupied. My mind is someplace else. I kicked the item. So
Mm-hmm.
more than it's not so bad, to do a self check on myself. Am I as we close
Yeah,
out our minute?
and to avoid that, avoid that even happening in the first place, be actually, in where you are, and be present, and be mindful of what you're walking in front of, and you won't stub your toe so readily.
So
um,
mindfulness in part to me is maybe awareness also.
like I said, it's awareness training, it's insight training, it's focus training, it's attention training. And again, with the distractions of this world that we're living in now, we need some help. We need some training. We need some practices that are gonna, have us really be present for our lives, because they go fast.
I hear that. Well, thank you for closing us out. We do try to hang tight to a 15-minute program. And with that closing discussion from Lizzy, I, Joe Wesley, say goodbye to you.
Everyone, be well. Take care.
Please share your comments. Thank you again. We'll see you next week.
Okay.